All right, guys, now that I showed you how to create variability with the page titles and meta descriptions by going through the full stack, the full steps, the general full steps for the MOWG toolbar, let's talk about doing it the short way real quick too. And as long as we're doing that, we're going to lead into the next thing that'll be interesting to discuss, which is this one T2H-MOWG formation down here. I'll get into that soon. Here we go. Let's start off and do what you would normally do. So we're going to go and create a new Excel sheet here. But we're not ready to import yet. What we're going to do is create the spun text, right? So just for practice, again, let's go back through this. Let's go to our pages. And what do we want to do? Just to make the point, we want to make a MOWG version of this main page so we can create thousands of variations of it, complete with the slider and everything else operating here. So that's what we want to do. We're going to start by creating the variable text in here, right? And then paste it back in and then download that page. Okay, so we'll do it that way. Just it's an easy way. So let's start by duplicating our home page so that we have a backup of the print. Okay, that is our backup, index-1. Okay, now that that's a backup, I can go into this other one here, home, and I can go ahead and use my spin rewriter API. I'm going to download the spun text. Okay, scroll, use API, and there it is. Okay, so I can close this and I can minimize. I need to come back to it in a bit. Let's open this so we have it. Okay, open our Excel sheet so we have that too. MOWG toolbar. Okay, Control Alt, Control C, Control V. Whoops, see how I didn't really paste it into the cell? I want to make sure I get this right. Double click, boom, there. Looks better. All right, convert from spinner syntax. There we go. And then that's really all we needed to do. So header generator, and we're done with our variations, HTML and CSV. We can close this, we can save it or not, because we're going to throw it away in a minute. All right, so now edit the HTML page so I can grab all this, come back here, flip to source code, Control A, Control V to paste, right? There. There, I just dealt with it. Maybe I'll get rid of the last line break. Okay. And I can update. Okay. That's done. So now if I refresh this, okay. By the way, when it pushes the line down to make room for this edit page, that's just to be able to come back and edit the page very quickly and easily since I'm logged in. It works because I'm logged in. If you're not logged in here, you cannot see this link even if we're staring at the same page together. So don't worry about it. But there we go. There's all my variability, and so this page is done and ready and everything. That's really all I needed. So I'm going to close that out. Close this out. Okay, let's do this again. Our var sheet is perfect. All the right vars match what's on this page, right? Because we just put this back after that process. But now we don't just want the content anymore. That's what's on that index page, remember, is just that little block starting with welcome to company. Okay, we don't want that anymore. We want the actual front page here complete with welcome to South Bend Landscaping, etc., etc. We want everything. Okay, so that's what we're doing now. So let's throw away this old Excel file, just delete it, create a new one. Okay, wow, so we can do more. All right, just nice and simple. Import new combine theme to HTML, and that, and yes, overwrite the HTML page. Now, don't do anything else. We're all done. We are all done. We don't need to go through the code vars and thesaurus and everything with the spinner syntax. We already did that. Okay. Don't need to save the changes either because we can throw this away. We're done with it too. Those are just temporary worksheets. Okay. Now we have the whole page here. Okay, complete with all that variability that's inside of it. Okay, now that is the point where we need to do more. Okay, this is the point where we say our problem is that the page titles and meta descriptions are all the same. And if I were to run it really quickly and just show you, you know, at this point you'd see, and you must be aware because there is no variability for the page title or meta description. Let me show you that. Index, if I edit, I look for my meta description tag, and it says South Bend Landscaping is your full service lawn and landscape company. And then it says title, best landscaping company in South Bend, Indiana, my CMS, whatever. I don't want it to say my CMS anyway. I may as well say Acme Landscaping or something, right? Or, South Bend Landscaping. Okay. I could create or change this to Acme too. Okay. Whatever company name, it doesn't matter. It's up to you, whatever you're doing the page for. Okay, there you go. And so I just showed you some variability in there. Now I did not change any of the tokens. Notice that I did nothing with anything here. Okay, I changed none of them. That's the important thing to realize is that if you change them in one spot, you have to change them in the other spot. And I'll go to that in a minute because these two have to match. But let's get back to where we were. There is no variability, edit, in the page title. There's not a single var in here. There's nothing to spin, nothing to make different. This is static wording. Same thing with the keywords, and same thing with the meta description tag. It's all static wording. We don't want that. Okay. And when we run it, that's where we're going to understand immediately is that's our problem, right? Is that all of these pages are going to come out the same way to HTML. Okay. 20, just for the fun of it. Don't upload. Next. Let's just do that with the ID column. Okay. We got to save it with keywords, project, keys. Okay. Now you guys are going to be really good at this, right? By the time we're done. Because the repetition is helpful. It is truly helpful. Okay. I created my keys with the keywords. We already covered that. And I showed you where to study up more on that. Now let me just go to a shortcut that I should put on my desktop from the MOWG Pro folder inside the C drive. MOWG Pro. See C drive, MOWG Pro runs. Okay, this is the latest one I did. And in here I have all my pages. Now, if I right click and open any of these pages, the problem I'm going to have is that every single one of them say the exact same thing for the page titles and the meta description tags. And we know that Google doesn't like that at all. Okay, it shouldn't be the case. Best landscaping company in South Bend, Indiana. Best landscaping company in South Bend, Indiana. Acme Landscaping is your full service lawn landscape company, and the same thing here. No good. We have to create variability in this. Okay, how do we do it? That's at the point where right now we can actually do it. So the question becomes how? The answer is we start to get into what MOWG is best for anyways, the variables, and since we did this in the other file and you understood the concept, let's just take it out with a little more practice. I'm going to open my index page in Notepad so I can easily edit it. Okay. I'm going to open my var sheet, and the first thing I need to do is start changing. And let's say we're going to start with the title tag, Best Landscaping Company in South Bend, Indiana, Acme Landscaping. Okay, I'm going to assume that Acme Landscaping must stay static. There's no question about it. Okay, that is the company we're presenting. And there is no other way to call it Acme Landscaping unless they have aliases. Acme Landscapers, Acme Emergency Landscapers. I don't know what their aliases would be, but if they had them, I could use that as variables. Let's say they don't. Okay, what do we have? We have a few things to work with here. Best landscaping company in South Bend. And let's assume Indiana is also not going to change at all. We're going to assume that we're in the state of Indiana in this case. Okay, so the only things that are changeable is these first few words. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. South Bend is the same word. Okay, one word for our purposes. It's one city. All right, best landscaping company in. Even in is a variable because it could be if we're in South Bend, we're in South Bend, but we can also be in the next city over, right? In Mishawaka, we can be in Elkhart, we can be in Goshen because, there are landscapers that go to your yard, right? They're in your city. But you could also say just as easily, they're in your city, they're for your city, they're covering your city. Best landscaping company covering Goshen, Indiana. See? So there's choices, and it doesn't have to be best. It could be top, or it could be most important. Who knows? Most trustworthy. Who knows? Okay, ready? So I want, how many words, by the way? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the point I wanted to make. I want 5 variables that haven't been taken yet. So I'm just going to scroll across and see what my biggest variable number is. It's 641. So anything from like 642 onward is completely free for sure. Okay, I mean, a var 63 is completely clear too because it is not in use. See how it goes from 56, 58, 60, 62, 64. Anything in the middle is not in use. But just for my own personal organization, I may as well start with var 1000 and know that that's stuff I added. So what I say, I needed to create about 5 of them. So I'm going to insert 5 columns like that. I'll call the first one. Notice no capitals, just lowercase, var 1000. And I could keep typing, but it's easier to highlight it, grab that little box in the corner, and drag it. Oops, drag it one more. Okay. All right, let's see. So what do we have? We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that is what's here. So let me just do it best. Okay. Landscaping. Okay. Company in South Bend. See how I did that? Now, that assumes that I'm going to put these variables on the sheet in the same place. So let me just create one, okay? And then I'll work forward from there. So if you want, grab any one of the ones that you see so you can start with it. If you just want to make sure you don't screw up the coding at all, just grab one. You know, you can easily see what it's like. Notice I have a space after it. That's okay. Okay. I'm going to just start pasting it over the words for one thing. My title tag, careful, get it right. Don't screw up the coding. Control V. Okay. Might be a bit much. All right, let me just do this. Okay, don't want double spaces, don't need them. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and highlight the whole thing, 5. Now the only thing is make sure you get spaces in between them, right, or the words are going to run together. Okay, so, you know, whatever way is comfortable for you. Anyway, the first one was the word best. That's obviously var 1000. The next one is the word landscaping. That's obviously 1001, right? So yeah, I mean, you can do it again however you want. 1001, okay. 1002, okay. And if this seems like a lot of work, remember, this is the shorthand way of creating lots of pages, okay? Literally hundreds, all right? I am creating hundreds of pages with this one little stack of steps I am doing here, okay? File save. So do not be put off by a little bit of work. Now, ready? This could be best. It could be top, right? It could be most trusted. It doesn't have to be the same verbiage. It could even be trustworthy. Whatever you would like to do. And yes, you can do most trustworthy. Okay. In other words, you can go through many combinations. Can you duplicate? You can. If you happen to accidentally put best again, it's not going to hurt you. It's just going to weigh more of the pages to come out with the word best on them. Okay. If you need more ideas, you know, highlight the bottom word you're on, hit the source, and it'll put a whole list, and you can start working through it. Okay.